Hey everyone, it's Johnny, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about some fragrance feedback. These are not Scentsy Empties, I almost said Scentsy Empties, but these are the non-Scentsy ones. So these are just some different random scents that I've been warming throughout the last weeks, months. I don't know, time is just kind of a weird blur at this point, but let's take a look and see what I've got. We'll kind of go through these fairly quickly, and then we'll move on to the Scentsy ones in our next video. So here we go. Without further ado, we have some Better Homes and Gardens Oak and Lavender. This is a somewhat powdery scent. You do get lavender from it. The oak is there. It's like a more subtle oak scent, but it kind of gives me almost like a not quite potpourri, but kind of deodorant-y, sort of potpourri adjacent vibe. It's definitely powdery, so it's not a fresh lavender. And if you're looking for something a little bit more fresh, this is not the one for you. It does mention that in the notes here, it says oak, red cedar, crushed lavender, rosemary, bergamot, and leather. I do get the cedar. I don't know that I necessarily get leather out of this, but I can see the bergamot being like that sort of zingy note, so that it's not completely so powdery woods. It was okay. I mean, it performed well. I don't usually have a problem with their premium wax melts, but I don't know that I'd go out of my way to get it again. All right, also from them, we have Rainwater and Moss. This one is described as rainwater, lotus, lavender, red cedar, frosted patchouli, and moss scent notes. Now, this one, you do get the cedar in there, but you do get that fresh sort of... I like this one because it's not trying to be some weird, really overly aquatic, dewy scent. It's more earthen aquatic, if that makes sense. You do feel that sort of woodsy moss sort of note that brings up that more grounded scent quality to this fresh scent. But you also do get sort of that... nod to an aquatic scent without being overtly so. This is almost like borderline cologne fresh rather than it is straight up just fresh, and I actually really appreciate that. I like things with the the moss scent notes in them for that reason, because they kind of ground them a little bit. Otherwise, it's just like another salted sea water surprise sort of scent, which I feel like there's a bajillion of those because they're really easy to make. This one's a little bit more complex. And you do kind of get a little bit of that lavender in there as well. So it's nice. If you don't like patchouli, though, you may want to steer clear of this because you do smell it a bit. It's not the prominent scent in the mix, but it is there. So if you're like anti-patchouli anything, use caution with this one. All right, but it was a great performer, and I love it. I got through a bar of my tried and true favorite mainstays, Wild Honeysuckle. This is probably, still to this day, the most authentic honeysuckle scent that I have found. I don't know if they still make these anymore. I remember when they had them, I stocked up and got like a mountain of them, like a whole little like shoebox full of them. But they're great powerhouses. They last all day, even though they're the tiny little mainstays cubes. So if you can find the scent and you love honeysuckle scents, this is a lovely, fresh, wild honeysuckle. Then... moving on, we have Yankee Candle Soft Wool and Amber. For a minute, I had to be like, wait, what does it smell like? I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I thought I was not going to like this scent. I thought this was going to be a little bit too along the lines of white, amber, and silk, which I have a love-hate relationship with from Scentsy. This is way more cozy. You definitely get the wool notes. The amber kind of warms it and gives it a little bit more of a richness, but it's not necessarily a sweetness. This is exactly what I expect when you like grab a fresh blanket and just like smell it. And minus like the scent soft or fabric softener or freshener that you might have put in it, that's what this would smell like an unscented, fresh, clean blanket. And it's so nice and cozy, and it's a phenomenal performer, and it's a great bedroom scent. So definitely recommend this one if you can still find it. Soft Wool and Amber from Yankee Candle. And I've been impressed because a few of the ones that I've tried from them recently have been pretty solid in performance. And I was a little bit disappointed with like the throw and the blends in their wax melts for a while, but at least with the last couple that I've tried, I've been very happy with them. So kudos to you, Yankee Candle. You have redeemed yourself, sort of. All right, from Goose Creek, we have Whitewater Springs. This is a, if I remember correctly, yeah, this is like a fresh men's cologne body wash sort of adjacent scent. Very nice scent. I would get it again. I would warm it again. I would wear it as a cologne. I don't necessarily know that this is like a super unique scent by any means, but if you like that sort of refreshing men's cologne body wash kind of vibe, this is a great one. And it's not soapy. It's like the zest or something, like a nice men's kind of like fresh cologne. Okay, moving on. We have Island Time from Sensationals. This is an older one. I wasn't wild about this, and you do get like a pineapple-y coconut vibe from it. Like, I see where they were going. I feel like there's a green undertone, like a palm leaf or something. There's some sort of green note to this that like just throws it off a little bit for me. And I don't know if it's like they're trying to get the tropical island plants involved with this mix, but beyond that, it just smells like you're having a very watered down pina colada at the beach, which is not a bad scent, but like if you want a pina colada scent, I wouldn't go all of my way to call it like Island Time. You know what I mean? So there's other ones. Scentsy's Pina Colada Cha-Cha is probably one of my favorite pina colada scents out there to this day. I think the balance on this really well. This one is just kind of like, not quite. Didn't quite make the mark. It wasn't unpleasant. I would warm it again if I had it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it. I got through a bar of Sunset Island Sands. This is a really interesting sort of cozy scent. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Scentsy's Sedona Sunset a little bit. It has that almost like terracotta sort of brick clay tone to it, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Like a pottery sort of fresh scent. It has a cozy sandy vibe underneath, but it also has like a warm sunshine sort of note. It's very, very neutral, and I would call this more of a fresh scent than anything else. But it's fresh in a different way. It's like fresh as in like Cozy Cardigan from Scentsy is fresh, rather than fresh like freshly, I don't know, salted sea air. I'm just going to keep using that reference because it's such an overused scent that is like everywhere in the market. But I really like this one. It's kind of borderline cozy fresh. And it would be a great bedroom scent or just general house scent. And I don't think many people would be very offended by it as well. So if you can find this one, this is a great one. I don't think it's made anymore, but if it is, grab a couple bars or a bar. Next, we have Ambiessence Linens in Lavender, Calming Lavender and Crisp Cotton. This is definitely more medicinal lavender heavy, like that herbal lavender. And then you get that sort of linen laundry note. But where, like, for example, Scentsy's Lavender Cotton is almost more cotton-based with, like, a hint of florals and lavender. This is a bit more heavy on the herbal lavender with, like, linen in the back note. So, or cotton, I should say. So, I'm not as fond of this one, also because the lavender, this one tends to be a little bit too herbaceous for me at times, but every now and then it's a nice reset fragrance, as are most laundry scents, because they're fairly strong and they do really well at kind of clearing out all the other like lingering fragrances in the room. Next we have Fusion's French Lilac. This is what you might imagine. It's your traditional lilac scent. I don't know that it's necessarily any more unique or less unique than any other lilac scent that I found, but it is definitely lilac. It's not well, I guess there might be a violet leaf undertone to this too. I feel like those are usually commonly paired together in terms of scent. I have yet to find like a just straight up lilac that I like. But this is okay. This is all right. I didn't mind it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to find it again. Next is Goose Creek's Carnival Pralines. This is a nice, you do get a very, very prominent praline scent. It's what you'd kind of expect from a carnival praline. So like that sugared, caramel note to it, and then like the roasted, salted pralines underneath. So this is very much a gourmand sort of fragrance. Better, I think, for like fall or winter, if you're thinking of having like a carnival evening mood, like a summer evening at the fair. It would go really well. Or if you just love foodie sort of scents. I liked it. I would warm it again. I don't know that I would hunt it down personally, because I'm more of like a cologne, fresh, woodsy kind of person generally, with like fresh florals and the occasional citrus. But it is a good scent. It's a great scent. And sometimes, like, I think what was happening, I wanted to kind of do a bunch of bakery warmings in a row, because for some reason I was craving like bakery scents, because I was just like over florals and fresh stuff for a little bit. So you may see a bunch of different random bakery scents in here. Next we have Goose Creek's Wild Mint and Birch. And this one was kind of like, meh. I feel like I got a bunch of the mint. I didn't really get a whole lot of the birch. Not that birch is a particularly strong wood scent. Or at least not in this particular version of it. I think what I was trying to hope for was Scentsy's like Frosted White Birch, which is such a unique, beautiful fragrance, and I didn't get that. I didn't come even close. This was very much like a wild, fresh mint growing in the garden, and then like a birch tree next to it that you can sort of kind of waft some wood scent from. Nice fresh scent, mostly mint. I wouldn't go out of my way to get it again. Cool Raindrops. So remember how we talked about like salted sea air, right? How about salted rain air? So here's my gripe with a lot of like raindrop or summer rain or rainy day or the rain is falling or whatever the heck the scent's called, okay? A lot of them use the same sort of generic scent profile, and like it shows. So when I smell this, it's not to say that this doesn't smell good or it didn't smell nice and fresh and it didn't fill the space nicely. Like I like the scent, but I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm also a little bit more nitpicky about fragrance in terms of like, what are you bringing to elevate this fragrance? Okay, this is Cool Raindrops. Is there like a touch of like icy mint in here? Nope, didn't find that. You know, are the raindrops, I don't know, is it fresh water versus salt water? Doesn't really do it for me. If anything, it smells kind of like I just took a nice bath, and it's like you're draining the bath waters, and it still has like a residue of a nice, like, you know, like the fresh scent of what are lingering from your soap or something. I don't know. It's not a soapy scent, but basically there's a lot of these like rain and aquatic based scents that are very, very similar with different names and packaging. So just be mindful, because some of them are just different enough to be like something that will make you like be unhappy with the scent. But anyways, that was a tangent on this, but this is a decent scent, very forgettable, like many of the aquatic-y ones can be. Would warm it again, wouldn't hunt for it. Splish Splash, let's stay on the theme, right? Also Goose Creek. This is a laundry scent. This is like laundry detergent. This is, I put fabric softener in, or like Downy. It's like wet laundry kind of, and it's great. It's like if you like a laundry scent, but again, Splish Splash, and we have a, I don't know, I assume this is a kid in like a puddle of water. That doesn't scream laundry scent to me. So again, I digress. Next we have Ocean Breeze. Can you guess what this is gonna smell like? Wow, salty sea air and like an ozone note. Groundbreaking. Again, this is not a bad scent, so don't get me wrong when I'm like kind of being overly sarcastic here. They're not bad fragrances, but they are very generic. Like, you can't go wrong with this if you're looking for like a salted sea, oceany, fresh aquatic scent. Like, there's only so many ways you can make the sea apparently smell, according to most wax vendors, so. And shockingly, they're all similar. All right, Sunlit Shores is next. And this one is interesting because this one is, again, this is kind of like Island Time adjacent, where it was like trying to do a little bit of the coconut, trying to do a little bit of the pineapple. If you smelled the Mother's Day Blue Coconut Beach, It's kind of like the starting hint of that, but then we add a little bit of like an unsweetened pineapple, and then there's like again, a weird green or woody note in there that's like trying to make this into something a little bit more earthen, and it just fails to hit the mark there. Like, it just grounds it in such an unusual way that, I don't know, it throws it off for me. So that one was like a womp. If you want to find one that's similar to that I do like, I think it's Sensational's Pacific Coast Highway is much better. You get that fresh sort of like seaside drive vibe without this weird like pungent green notes that are trying to like stick like a palm leaf or something up into your nostril. All right, moving on. We have Sensational's Egyptian Cotton. Dun, 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 dun. No Egyptians were harmed in the making of this. This is a floral, like a white floral and cotton scent. And it's like a fresh, slightly sweet floral with white musk. I like this. This is a great, clean, all around the house sort of fragrance. But this is also one where there are days where I'm like all about it. And then there are other days where I'm like, it's a little sweet. This is doing like the white amber and silk dance for me. So I really like this scent. I do have a couple bars of it, but I have to be in like the right mood for this sort of cozy, sweet white floral musk. So, but it performs really well. I finally got around to Darcy & David's Kona Coffee scent. It didn't disappoint. Although, this is probably, and I don't know for certain, but I've noticed that specifically with the Darcy & David, the Hobby Lobby waxes, they don't, they transform. And I don't mean like when you're warming them. I mean like the longer you have them in your house or in your stock, they transform. Now, it's all well that we know like the oils that are put into the waxes over time can kind of like rise to the surface or separate from the medium of the wax. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about like whatever fragrance oils they're using are changing, or I won't say they're becoming rancid because I don't think that's really what's happening. Could be. But it definitely didn't smell the same way that it did when I bought it. And then when I like warmed it, it kind of like danced between what I thought it was going to smell like and what it currently was smelling like, weirdly. So just be mindful. I don't know if it's a manufacturing thing. This is an older bar, like a good couple years old, I want to say. Maybe not that old. Yeah, it's been a couple years. So it's very possible that that's just like, it could be just this particular bar. It could be the way I stored it. It could just be the brand. So just be aware if you choose to get stuff from Hobby Lobby that I've noticed. And this isn't the only one that did that. But they seem to like the oils shift fragrance profiles. And I don't know if it's just some of them evaporate or they just turn a little bit more putrid or what. But it went from being like a really rich, beautiful Kona coffee scent, like groundbreaking, like really strong, you could smell it through the plastic, to being a little bit weaker and having this weird sort of burnt, this is going to sound really bad, but like burnt cat piss sort of smell. And it's not so much that it like made this an abhorrent sort of warming situation, but again, just an observation, because I've tried a bunch of different waxes and different brands. That's the first brand, really, that I've noticed that a scent has transformed so differently. Like, because the Scentsy ones sometimes will get stronger or weaker just over time, or more juicy, but they don't really change their scent profile too much. This one definitely did. So that was a little bit of a sort of mixed bag. I have mixed feelings on that one. I got through Sensational's Alluring. This is Mahogany, Bergamot, and Amber. I love this scent. I think that Bergamot is a little bit excessive. I would have loved to just keep it with more Mahogany and Amber. But it does lighten it, and this is a beautiful sort of cologne, romantic, masculine scent, and I really enjoy it. So I'm glad that I have a few more of these. I don't know if you can get these anymore, but I do recommend that one. It performed really well. It's a great bedroom scent. All right, next we have Woodwick's White Teak. This one pleasantly surprised me. I've had mixed feelings about these ones as well, similar to the Yankee Candle ones, maybe not as disappointed. Mostly with this brand, I found that at least at the time, the ones that I first tried were just either too soft or just didn't feel like they threw very well in general. Like, they smelled good, but they didn't throw or fill the room, or they were ultra soft. And to put this in comparison, I would put like the Woodwick set of melts, kind of like the Yankee Candles almost, but these are even more expensive. These are kind of airing closer to the price point of like a Scentsy bar even, but they're store-bought. And so I don't have a problem with that if you have a product that throws or is, you know, gonna at least give me some sort of fragrance, whether I like it or not. But when it doesn't throw well, that starts worrying me. This one particular, however, this one did really well. Now, woody scents in general tend to throw better, or some things that have longer lasting deep notes, for example, Christmas tree scents will last forever and a day because of that. But this one actually performed really well. It was about a solid medium throughout its performance. So it wasn't weak. I could definitely smell it. And it lasted more than a day, and I was very impressed. I was pleasantly surprised. So they describe this one as crisp balsam branches mixed with sandalwood and oak with hints of moss of tree and cedarwood. Whatever this blend is, don't change it, Woodwick, because it's really good. Really, really good. In fact, like, I will probably go and see if I can order a few more bars of these because I liked it that much. As far as some of their other ones, it's a little bit a bit of a mixed bag. So until I can warm more of these at some point, I can't give you like my full-on, yeah, that's a great brand to go through, they're super strong, because I've had very differing opinions. Next, we have Better Homes and Gardens. We're back to their premium line, Cotton Flower and Musk. This is bergamot, cotton flower, jasmine, freesia, amber, and musk scent notes. This is just a cozy, sort of musky home fragrance scent. It was very forgettable. Yeah, just a cozy scent. You can definitely get the musk. It gives me like the kind of cashmere sort of vibes, like a blanket or a wool sort of note. Little bit sort of like that sort of stuffy sort of scent because of the muskiness. It's a little bit more than I would prefer, but it was okay. Like, it was a solid okay. It did perform pretty solidly, like most of that particular line does. I just wasn't wild about that particular combination. Next, we have Texas. Oh, that's right. Sensationals Texas. This is Prickly Pear Cactus. This is a nice fresh scent. It reminds me a little bit of like Scentsy's White Tea and Cactus scent without being quite as like intensely tea based, because it's prickly pear, not tea, duh. But it's still that sort of like slightly, I feel like some tea scents tend to come across as either soapy or powdery in sort of translation to wax. And you definitely get that with this one. So just be mindful of it. I think this is a limited edition that I just found randomly. I don't know. It was okay. I've smelled better and far worse, so. All right, let's see. We got Goose Creek's Sprinkled Sugar Cookies. This is another weird one where they have a couple different, like, Goose Creek, I have a little bone to pick with them. We'll talk about that in a minute. So this one smells like an actual sugar cookie. A frosted with the little sprinkles on it, straight up out of the store sugar cookie from the bakery section. Like, that's what this smells like, and I live for this, okay? Love this scent. Probably, yeah, it's very vanilla-based sugar cookie scent. Like, this is what I want when I think of a sprinkled sugar cookie sort of fragrance. I think I almost might like this better than Scentsy Sugar Cookie, but that's kind of like a draw at this point. But, because that one's easier to get. But, very good scent, great throw, very nice, clean, fresh bakery scent that most people would not be offended smelling, unless you like really hate vanilla, because it does have vanilla undertones. So, this one, phenomenal. Remember this name, Sprinkled Sugar Cookies in the picture. Then we have Goose Creek's iced sugar cookie. Because we didn't just have a frosted sugar cookie. And yet this one smells more like vanilla bean buttercream from Scentsy. It's more of a meaty, buttery cookie. I don't know where the icing is in this one. It kind of disappeared. It's not like that funfetti birthday cake icing. Very much more of a buttery cookie. It has more of the dough notes than it does like the sweet sugar that you'd normally expect from a light melt-in-your-mouth sugar cookie. It's almost like an iced butter cookie, if anything. But again, like, we just had two different sugar cookies with one different adjective, basically. Sprinkled versus iced. But they smell radically different. Goose Creek, you need to come up with a better, like, naming strategy, because those two are very different, and you imply that they're almost identical with just synonyms. Iced and sprinkled. Alright, so I'm gonna go put that one away before I have any more tangent rants about renaming things. I mean, I get it. After a certain amount of time, like, how many times you're gonna, like, rename a cookie scent. But, like, that's getting a little bit oddly similar for scents that are quite dissimilar in actual performance. Okay. Goose Creek Guilty. This is a cologne scent. This reminds me of... I'm trying to think of a Scentsy scent to kind of give you a reference. It's not like My Hero. I like My Hero much better. But it's a deeper, rich, masculine cologne. Maybe it's like a hybrid between... like the DC Marvel thing and My Hero or something like that. Or a hybrid between the two. Anyways, it's a really good cologne scent. It's not my favorite, weirdly enough. Like, I thought I would like this way more than I would. Because I love cologne scents. And I was just kind of indifferent with it. I was like, it's a cologne. So, that was a little bit underwhelming. I won't say I, like, didn't like the fragrance. Like, I warmed through it, clearly. But it wasn't as mind-boggling as I was kind of hoping it would be, especially with such a cool name. Now we have Waffles and Ice Cream from Goose Creek. This is one that I did buy several bars of because you do get that waffle scent. This is similar to Scentsy's Stroop Waffle Delight minus the buttery note that Stroop Waffle Delight had. This is more the waffle with like the vanilla cream tone to it. Very delicious. This is a lovely... It is a bakery scent, but it is a fresh bakery scent rather than a like burnt bakery or stale or flowery bakery scent. I mean flower as in Flour, not flower as in outside gardens. But this is actually really nice, solid, neutral bakery scent. So if you're not a big bakery fanatic, but you want something bakery-esque for your home for the day or something, this is a great one to consider because the waffle scent isn't as pungent as some other pastries, and the ice cream component isn't heavily vanilla. It just kind of mellows it out a bit. Okay, enough about that one. Next, we have Better Homes and Gardens Black Violet and Iris. I'll fall off my chair. That's going to be cute. This one is a sort of soft, fresh floral. It's a little slightly perfumey, but it's more just like a soft, fresh floral. And I really enjoy it. It has a little bit more of a feminine component to it because of the lightness of it. But it is more fresh than powdery or anything like that. So I do appreciate that. And it has a clean sort of tone or undertone to it, which I also really like. Next, Caribbean Sea Breeze. This is one I also stocked up on at one point after I tell you all about like all the sea salt and whatever scents that I'm like all smell the same. And this one is a salted sea breeze. Let's not kid ourselves here. It's in the name of the thing. But it has a tropical hint of like a coconut undertone. That kind of gives it enough of a difference that it's not just straight up sea salt and water. Or sea salt and ozone. So in that sense, I do appreciate this a little bit more. If you're not coconut fanatical, I would avoid this. I think that's where they get the Caribbean component to it. But it's a nice scent. It's a nice clean, and you do get a lot of the sea salt note in this one. So if you're not a fan of salt scents, this is one that you might also want to avoid and pick up a different one of the many millions of sea scents out there. All right, what do we have next? Oh, another honeysuckle. We won't talk about that one again, but clearly I wormed through that. Pear and Sponge Sugar. This is another one of the premium ones from Better Homes and Gardens. This one was not a fan for me. Very, very sweet sponge sugar with a hint of pear. It's like a whipped pear is what they describe it as because it wasn't a heavy pear scent. You get a lot of sweet sponge sugar in this one, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I was not a fanatic of this one. It did kind of perform softly, too, which is also maybe to be expected from the scent notes, but wouldn't recommend that one. All right. Next, we have a Febreze Wax Melt Wood. Literally all I say. Amber, oud, and cedar. Love all three scent notes. Thought I was going to really adore this based on what I smelled on cold. And I was very underwhelmed. It kind of smelled like a musty closet. A musty wood closet, mind you, but something like, oh, you went to your parents' 60s or 70s or 80s or whatever's house, and it's like the wood paneling is all in the closet too, and it's a little bit old, and you can kind of smell the age of the wood. That's kind of what I got from this. So, like, very strange for Febreze to be having a scent like this that makes the room feel a little bit more musty than it does fresh, but I mean, it was different, and it did last, so I have to give him that credit. So there's that. Next, we have Sea Moss and Sage. This one is sea moss, sea salt, oh look, shocking, sage, bergamot, citrus zest, and warm cedar notes. This is a clean scent. It's not heavily saged like I would have expected. You actually get a little bit more of that sea salt and green moss sort of note to this. And it's mellowed by the sage and a little bit of like a cedar undertone. So it's like a fresh, salty, woody sage. I don't know how to describe that, but it's more on the fresh side of things. I'll say that much, more than woods. It's, again, more salty, so if you're not a fan of that sort of sea salt note, this might not be for you. I was kind of indifferent. It was just a nice, fresh scent. Wasn't mad about it one way or the other. All right. Lavender and Rosemary Sensationals. This is what it might suggest. And I actually can't smell it in here anymore. I remember this being a very soft scent, and I was kind of underwhelmed by the performance. Wow, it really doesn't linger in this scent in the wax. There it is. Yeah, it is a softer scent. You do get the lavender. The rosemary is in there, but it's more of just like a soft, not quite herbal lavender, but it's kind of where it really sits there. Very nice and neutral if you want something just in the background, but clearly it's very forgettable because I can't smell it in here and I can't quite remember what it smelled like. So there we have that. Another Waffles and Ice Cream. We won't talk about that again. Cliffside Sea Spray. Oh, look, another. So this is a fresher one. There's less salt in this. This is more a fresh, oceany, sea, sort of like aquatic and air, but no like salt tone to this. So it's not a freshwater sort of thing, but you also get a little bit of like an earthen undertone to this, probably the cliffside component that grounds it without being like a weird palm leaf or something that's just like a pungent green note. But it is like a more of a fresher water scent with like an earthen bottom. Not bad, but again, I was just clearly on a fresh kick for a while. Next, we have fresh, as I just said, a fresh kick. Fresh Orchard Apples. This is basically a dupe of Johnny Appleseed. Jury's out as to whether I like this one more or not. They're very similar. I think Johnny Appleseed feels more fresh and dewy. This is a little bit less bite into like a mouth-watering, juicy apple. This is more like just a fresh apple. But they're very similar. Like, they're very close to one another. Wild lavender and linen. I'm sorry, wild lavender linen. And this one is more of a linen laundry scent with lavender added, similar to Scentsy's Lavender Cotton, which is more of a cotton scent with lavender added, versus what we said earlier about the, I think it was the Ambiessence one, which is like basically the same name, but it was more all about the herbal lavender, and then like the linen or cotton was like the afternote. So this is the reversal of that one. I actually prefer this one better. I think it performs better overall. It's more of a laundry scent, mind you. But the lavender isn't so medicinal in the end of the day, and it doesn't kind of like drive you a little nuts. But it just depends on how much you love lavender. All right. Woodwick's Lavender and Cedar. I also was apparently on a lavender kick for a moment. All right. If I can open this. Yeah, this one was not great. This one I wanted to love. You do get, it's very soft. It was very soft. And this is, again, what I talked about earlier on Tangent, was I don't mind paying a higher price tag for a premium wax or whatever, especially for a scent that I really love. But if it performs abysmally, with few exceptions, that's usually a no-go for me. Because if, like, I'm going to be warming wax and going through the hassle of it all and cleaning it and whatever else, and maintaining it, I want to smell it. To whatever degree that is, I want to be able to smell it. This was very soft. It's a nice scent, but very soft. So that was a little bit disappointing. And that's why I'm just going to leave it at that, rather than trying to, like, dissect the scent notes. All right, then I have a couple from Girlfriend's Candle Company. I have matching polos. This is a kind of like fresh soap scent. Very like clover heavy, like a fresh green soapy scent. Not a fan of this. Not a fan. It almost gives me like you're eating parsley or something. Yeah, it's like gnawing on fresh parsley. Not a bad fragrance, but I just don't want my place to smell like that. Oak Moss and Amber, however, was delightful. I love oak moss scents. This was just a very nice, subtle background scent. So it wasn't super strong. It gives you that earthen grounding without being too masculine or too cologne-based. It's more of just like a outdoorsy sort of earthen undertone. But the amber kind of mellows it and gives a little bit more richness to that. So it's not just an earthy base point to your room. Very neutral scent. Very nice if you just want kind of like a cleanser from all of the more intense fragrances. Green Irish, just like the soap, cologne, soap. Very much like the soap. Smells like the soap. It's a soap. It's bar soap in a bar. A wax bar, that is. Got through Stormy Autumn Night, a big, we'll call this a brick. This is the Walmart version, the Better Homes and Gardens version of bricks. They're significantly smaller than a Scentsy brick, but it's basically 2 wax bars if you got individually ones from Walmart. It's like, what is the name of the place? This is just a nice men's cologne at the end of the day. It's fresh, but also deeply masculine. It gives me sort of a reminder of like, oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name? Mystery Man from Scentsy. Kind of mixed with My Hero. It's somewhere in between those two. It's a really nice cologne scent. And it performs really well. Really well. Like, a couple cubes will last and linger, and it will keep your place scented nicely without, like, making you go nuts. All right, almost done. Home stretch with all of these, and then we will cut there and move on to the Scentsy ones in the next video. So we have Favorite Denim. This is Mainstays. Again, this is a nice, cozy sort of fragrance. Kind of gives you the reminder of, like, fresh jeans. It's a little bit more on the masculine side of things. It's a medium sort of scent, maybe medium soft. But it throws pretty well through the day, and I enjoy it. You get a little bit of a laundry hint to it, but it's still more of like a cozy denim, cottony, cologne sort of adjacent fragrance. All right, Aquaholic. This is eucalyptus and sea salt. This is you get a lot of eucalyptus in this. This is like a men's body wash, but with eucalyptus. So it's like you walked in there and got a fresh, I don't know, Lever 2000 body wash, or like one of those like more fresh body washes, and then you threw in like a Vicks Vapor Rub in the bottom of your shower to like soothe your congestion, which I'll probably need to do after smelling all these cubes. That's what this kind of smells like. It's great. It's very masculine based, but it's still fresh and it performs really well. I don't think I would go and find more of it at any point, but I enjoyed warming what I had. All right, next we have Oud Noir from Fusion. This is a cologne scent. This is a very heavy cologne scent. I want to say this is the same scent as Sensational's Black Tie? Twilight something. There's a scent that's basically this one. I mean, this company, they're all owned by Rimports. So basically, this is a rebranding of the dark base black wax-ish colored cologne scent that we've seen in the Dia de los Muertes collection. We've seen in this collection. We've seen rebranded in another name at one point in Sensationals. So it's not a new scent. It's just repackaged. And it's that deep, heavy, rich, masculine cologne sort of scent, and it's great if you're looking for that. Next we have White Mahogany and Pumpkin from Better Homes and Gardens. This is a limited edition from their premium line. Now, I'm not a huge pumpkin fanatic in terms of fragrance, but this one was delightful. So it's described as white mahogany, cedar, bergamot, clove, incense, and pumpkin scent notes. This is kind of like if Mystery Man had more mahogany and was more deep toned, but then you had an sort of nod to pumpkin that wafts in between as it's warming. So it's not heavily pumpkin, and the deep woodsy mahogany note really helps with that. Beautiful fragrance, very cologne-based, masculine. But you get that rich wood tone to it, and I really love that. Now, again, this is not one that I necessarily run out of my way to stock up for, like, you know, the apocalypse for, but I would maybe grab a couple more bars if I saw this again on the shelves. This is a great performer. But, again, I think that would be one that I would probably do more of during, like, fall because of the pumpkin note. And Chilly Rain Showers. I somehow missed this rain one. This is like such a forgettable fresh scent. It's just like generic fresh scent number 5. Slightly aquatic, slightly fresh air, slightly a lot of like nothing. Maybe a little bit of a hint of green in there, like a dewy, very dewy green. But it's indiscernible fresh scent number 5. Cashmere Mahogany mainstays. We're almost done, I promise. Yeah, this one was disappointing. I don't know what I was expecting, but this kind of ended up being somewhere between like a slightly burnt blanket and like a weird sweet sweater. I don't know. It's a terrible way to describe it, but it was like slightly perfumey, but powdery, but musky, but it has wood, amber, and vanilla in it. So I think what happened is the vanilla and amber just like kind of overthrew the wood tones too much. And instead of turning into like this cozy woodsy scent, it kind of just became this weird, musty, cashmere sweatery, sweet sort of scent. It was not great. I was very disappointed with that one. Destination Wax Black and Black. This is black vanilla and black pepper. I like this. We got a lot of black pepper in this. It was like a subtle vanilla sort of scent. And then you had a lot of peppery note to it. So it was nice. I don't know that I'd run out of my way to get it again. Very unique, though. I don't think I've had very many pepper scents that were very peppery like this one. So kudos to Destination Wax there. And then finally, have a couple just candles that I ended up warming or chunking a while back. Oh no, there's another one here too. All right, so let's go over these ones. So I had a candle, Cucumber Oak Moss from Blythe and Flint Candle Company. Loved it to pieces. Double boiled it on the stove and turned it into wax melts. You don't have to go that crazy. You can literally just get a butter knife and chunk up your candle and put it into your wax warmers. But I did that, and I love this scent. And even after I did all that, it still performed amazingly and lasted forever and ever and ever. And so I'm sad that I'm running out of it, but I guess I'll go find another candle to chunk up. Then we have Colonial Candles Manly Indulgences Midnight. That's from their men's collection. Just another nice cologne-y sort of scent. It more, there's bergamot in this. This is more on like the citrus bergamot side of deep cologne scents rather than straight up woods side. So mileage may vary on that one, but that was a good scent too. And then finally, Fusion Exotic Sandalwood. And this is just straight up sandalwood. Maybe a hint of vanilla underneath, but it's just a sandalwood scent. So, we made it. That is all of the Non-Scentsy waxes that I have warmed in the past, we'll just say a couple months, because that's probably what it is. Hopefully this is informative. Let me know if you've tried any of these or what you have thoughts on in terms of brands or the scent profiles or what your thoughts are on these. I try to be as honest as possible because I am a consumer just like you, and whether it's Scentsy or something else, I want to make sure I'm giving you my 100% honesty with all of it, so that you know, like, yeah, that was something worth trying, or you know what, I was a little disappointed. So hopefully, again, like I said, this is helpful. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I do apologize that I haven't been posting with any sort of regular frequency. I do hope to eventually get back to that. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I am going to be posting more, rest assured. That being said, I hope you are all doing well, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.